Okay, so for episode 3 of Hunt for 1000 LP, we are in a little bit of an awkward situation. So, as you guys know, I have not been posting for like a month. This is just due to the fact that, first of all, I had school and finals week, so I was just focused on studying, focusing on my finals, and all of that. So I basically didn't play League for like a couple weeks. And then this last like week or two, I wanted to focus on grinding some ranked, doing some editing. I actually can't remember exactly all I've done this week, but I do know there have been things I've been busy with, and that's why I haven't been able to post one of these videos as of late. But there's a couple problems. So first of all, because of the fact that I was studying for my finals and I wasn't playing ranked for a couple weeks, I ended up decaying by accident. So instead of being about 200 LP Grandmaster right now, I am now Diamond 1. Now my MMR is the same, so it isn't really that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, especially as I'm trying to grind to 1000 LP. So honestly, it won't take more games, than if I didn't decay to get to 1000 LP. It'll be the same amount of games to get to that point. The only problem is that right now I'm not Grandmaster. I don't have that title. It might take a little bit longer to get the title of Challenger, but overall my LP gains will eventually make up for my decay, and yeah, so there's that. But besides that fact, I also, like, the games that I played over the last couple of weeks were pretty sporadic, and like I'd play like after finals I played a couple of games, then a couple weeks, then like a week later while I was still busy I played a couple games, and basically over time I ended up getting like just a ton of games. I have like 15 to 20 games I've played since the last episode, so I have a lot to catch up on. So therefore for this episode I'm not gonna be able to catch up on all of them. I'm not gonna be able to show all the games. I don't think you guys even want to see all the games. So I'm basically just going to explain like the different like sprees I went on. So like the bundles of games I played, if I played 5 games in one day, I'll explain what happened that day, show a couple clips from those games maybe, and then move on. So this is going to be a little bit different of an editing style. I think it's going to be pretty scuffed, more of like a filler episode, but I just want to catch you guys up with what's basically where I stand right now and how things are going. And I'll just try to explain the problems I had in between all of this. So for my first batch of games, we have this period of me playing mid lane Warwick. Now I did stream most of these games, so if you're interested in watching me play some of these games before they show up on my YouTube, go ahead and follow me on twitch.tv/Parnellyx, and that's where I'll be streaming my games. But I had been spamming mid lane Warwick just kind of in my free time for like a couple weeks by this period on my Smurf account. And initially I was just kind of doing it for fun, but then I started to, win a lot and perform really, really well. And it made me feel comfortable to bringing back mid lane Warwick, my patented mid lane Warwick, to my ranked games on my main account. So after, smurfing for a couple of games on my Smurf account on stream, I decided to swap over to my main and continue the win streak that I had going. Unfortunately for me though, that win streak did not really persist. In fact, immediately while I was playing pretty well, I got some unlucky games that resulted in some losses. Maybe there's a couple things I could have done. I will go over that more in the future though, because like I said, this video I can't go into too much detail. But generally speaking, I was just playing pretty well in the early games, got unlucky, lost. But after the fact, I definitely started to, there's a noticeable drop in my performance. I started to make a lot of careless mistakes and was just, frankly, just kind of playing bad, worse and worse over time. And this was just basically just due to me getting a little bit tired and fatigued. I had some back pain at the time. So the key thing to kind of get out of this block was just I needed to take a break and reset, especially when I started to notice a drop in my play. I just definitely needed to take a break. I probably could have saved a couple losses from that. And then also the last couple games of this block I played jungle. And I actually wasn't queuing for jungle. I queued at secondary and I ended up getting it. And because I hadn't been playing jungle for a couple weeks, I've been playing mostly mid lane Warwick at this point. I was a little bit rusty with the jungle. And by rusty, I mean I basically forgot one of the key ideas that I have with Warwick jungle this season that I did mention in my guide, which is to not overplay for lanes, not over gank, not force things, and just make sure that you're keeping up in farm. I basically was just, I was just overplaying for lanes, over forcing, and I was falling behind. And by the time mid game came around, I was just very weak as a champion, and I was a liability to my team. So it's a really simple thing to keep in mind, but at a certain point, you got to think like you can't worry about your laners dying all the time. If you think your laners are going to be dying every 30 seconds, you're not going to win the game, regardless if you're helping them or not. So you might as well just, you got to trust that they're going to, do the bare minimum, stay alive in simple situations. And then you got to help them out when the situation's favorable for you. You don't got to play for a 30% chance that maybe, an all-in happens here, but you're going to miss out on 3 camps because of it. You just don't want to do that. You want to play smart, play efficient, and you got to also understand that your teammates are just going to die regardless in games. So don't treat one teammate getting solo killed as the end of the world. Just play for yourself, play smart and smooth, and those are basically the things that I got out of this block of games. And with the second block of games, those are actually in the beginning of this video. I know it's kind of out of order, but there really wasn't much to say in those games because I played pretty well. The only issue that was keeping me from winning some games is the fact that I was getting too tilted for my teammates and I wasn't muting chat, was typing too much, and that's just solo queue 101. You don't want to do that, of course. But moving on to the third block, this is going to be the last block I'll talk about. There's some games that are missing from this, but there's so many games I played the last couple of weeks that I didn't showcase. So yeah, like I said, don't want to overwhelm you guys. But this game right here was, I really felt good about this game. Our bot lane was feeding going into this one, but given the enemy team comp, which was really the entire enemy team comp, which is all a bunch of ranged squishies. So this is actually a game where I actually went Stridebreaker. I know I mentioned in my guide that I basically never go Stridebreaker anymore, but this is the perfect opportunity to go Stridebreaker if they have all these squishies. But the thing that I am proud of this game is the fact that the way that I camped top lane, I knew that Aatrox was a really solid win condition because he builds Stridebreaker and Lucian's very vulnerable. And I feel like I went for some really solid plays. On this Lucian right here, this was honestly kind of lucky. He greeted really hard. I know he was going to try to dash, obviously, when I press R, but he didn't really have much room to dash, so I made sure that I was able to just hit my R. And I knew he didn't have flash, so that was good. But I know this game, I guess not even just this game, it's been a couple of games over the last couple weeks. I've been doing much better at really pushing my leads, applying pressure, and turret diving and things. Turret diving is the one thing that I'm really trying to work on because I never really did well at it, but I'm trying to apply it when I can. And as you can see in the Xerath, I mean, this was kind of an easy turret dive to go for. I had a lot of backup, but yeah, I'm going for more aggressive plays I wouldn't normally go for, and then a different sense in terms of ganks, I guess. I'm always aggressive when it comes to skirmishing, but I'm not really super aggressive when it comes to ganking. So I think there's definitely a lot of missed opportunities that I have, so I am starting to work on improving on that. Do keep in mind, there is a fine line between doing that well and also inting. And right here you can see me inting. I'm going way too deep on the invade, and this is one of the big issues that I had this game. And it's just an issue I need to work on in general. This is an issue I've had actually for a while, where when the game goes too well and the game's basically over, I start going into a happy mode, I start, autopiloting, limit testing, and just half-assing the game. I should be trying to end the game as fast as possible, obviously. Now, of course, every once in a while, if you play like this, you're going to end up throwing games. But I wasn't really worried about throwing this game, but it's still just a bad habit And also it does like fatigue me a little bit. Like if the game like lasts 40 minutes, it should have lasted 20. The next game, I'm going to be, you know, a little bit more tired, and, you know, eventually there's going to be one game that I don't play well because of how long that lasted. As I said, that Ezreal, that was a hard inch right there. I don't even know, like, that really showcases like where my mind was. It was absolutely ridiculous. The next game, we are playing against T1 on Cho'Gath. Tyler won. This is the middle of like his like huge win streak he was on too. He went like almost like a 20-game win streak. This is a little bit after. But going this game, I actually, whenever I play against like a big streamer, I have like a reason to try harder, I definitely play better. And I would like to get to the point where I'm able to, I guess, you know, mentally prepare myself for every single game and not just wait for a big streamer to be in my game to really turn it up a notch. But I mean, seeing Tyler against the enemy team, I really want to beat him, especially since he had like 40k streamers at the 40k views on his stream at the time. So I went really hard, and like you can see, like right here, this is really beautiful. This entire turret dive was great. Me and Fiora knew we needed to bait out the Galio ult, so we couldn't just straight up dive, and it was just, everything about that play was really nuts. I mean, honestly, I actually just played really, really well this game overall. I felt very, very happy. We ended up losing. My team was terrible. There's really no other way to say it. I played amazing and my team was bad. And that happens, but like I've mentioned before, these are the games that should really hype you up. Win or loss shouldn't really matter as much. If you are, if you're playing really, really well, if you're playing your best, then that'll eventually carry over to the other games. So you don't need to worry about it too much. Those are the games that should, you know, make you feel good regardless. Just focus on your own play. And also this fight, this is like the last fight of the game. It wasn't the last fight of the game, but this is like the turning point. This really, like, I don't know how we managed to lose this fight. Tristana's ult just like literally was just inting. She literally saved our lives. She saved our entire team's lives with her ultimate. Trolled. Hard trolled. But we somehow lost the fight. And then we ended up losing the game after that because no way we're coming back from any fight if we lose that. This is the last game of the video. I just want to showcase this right here. I normally don't, you know, talk about other like junglers or anything, but like look, this Kindred just is a psychopath. Look at this pathing. This pathing is disgusting. He started blue buff bot side and is just pathing top lane for a gank. He's camping, trying to camp Sanchovies. I don't know if it's because he's a fan or what, but that was pretty bad. Now keep in mind, if you have an enemy jungler doing a really cheese pathing, don't overforce it. Definitely don't overplay it. Just play normal, play your game. You can adapt a little bit, but you don't have to like feel like you have to do anything too special because they're pathing inefficiently. Let them path inefficiently. You don't have to like, you know, do anything to punish. This mid fight right here is great. I was very decisive going for the Silas, and that really was the deciding factor. And also I knew the red buff burn was going to kill the Kindred inside the minion wave, so that's why I did that. But immediately after getting those kills, I come up top lane thinking that I can kill Riven, but Kindred ended up pathing top lane again. So he went from his blue to his red, and then he went back, then he died, and then he went back up top. This pathing was kind of ridiculous. Now in hindsight, I do kind of understand it because I think he went back to his Krugs, at least in terms of this death. I really did not expect Kindred there, and that's why I forced that. I thought it made a lot of sense at the time. I can't really remember what happened here, guys. Not even gonna lie. Oh yeah, I'm going really ham. This is what I'm talking about though, with like playing aggressive, pushing my leads a little bit. Like, I know that I have teammates here to back me up, so I know that I can play a little bit deeper. Even if I don't kill the Kindred there, even if she's smart and gets away, I still am able to get the Gromp and just pressure. I'm able to force their lanes to rotate, or I'm able to force their jungler to, you know, have to recall and reset and lose time. Oh yeah, this entire series of events really just shows how well I was playing though. So after getting that kill, again, I'm trying to like kind of force more like tower dives and everything. And I honestly went probably a little bit too far right here. But I felt pretty confident given the fact that Kindred was under leveled, so I didn't feel like a counter gank was going to be that big of a deal. And I just managed to play, I just played this perfectly. Right here, I was patient with the Kindred. I made sure that she could overcommit before I went back in. feared her up, walked away from the turret, and now at this point, me and Ezreal are kind of fucked. At least Ezreal's fucked. I'm not fucked. Ezreal is. So he has to try to go execute, and you don't really see it. Oh, never mind, you actually do. But he wasn't able to execute, but it was still a really good play. And then also right here in this mid fight, I've never seen a Kindred die like that. Literally, he barely walked outside of his ultimate, and it was also right before Taric ult. Like, he had like 2 invulnerabilities going for him, and he still messed up, which was incredible. This was the real turning point of the game. Because Kindred actually surprisingly was fed this game, by the way. But top lane, Sanchovies was just playing out of his mind. And this wasn't just this game. Look at his match history. He was like going like 10-0 every single game. He was just playing like a beast. And this fight really, yeah, this was like all Sanchovies. I was bot lane farming. The enemy team was on Rift Herald. I got to come up for the cleanup. And our team is just playing perfectly. And this ult right here is really good by me. I managed to use R and E so I get a double CC. Because if I just R the Jinx, then Taric can, like, you know, besides the fact he can get away, he could also stun to disrupt the ultimate. And then right here is kind of funny. Silas is trying to juke me out, but he doesn't realize that I have blood trail in him, so he can't juke me out there. But yeah, anyways, before this game ends, I had a really good outplay on this Silas, just juking all of his spells. But once again, I apologize for like this video being hectic. I don't want any games in the series to be like this the rest of the series, but this ends up putting me at Diamond 1, 75 LP. That's where we're going to start. Remember, my MMR is a little bit higher because I did Decay, but we still have a lot of ways to go. So tune into the next video, which is going to be a little bit more back to what I was doing in episodes 1 and 2. So peace.